here we go. Are we live? Test, test, test. The volume's good. All right. Hello. Test, test, test. Let's make sure this is working. So, hey, Josh Carmichael here. We're just doing a test. We are going live on YouTube. So here's the thing, Man Code Incorporated or Man Code Inc. That's mancodeinc.com. You know, I've been planning this and working on this for several years now, writing a book on this, creating a manual or a script for men, you know, how to be real men in today's world. And you know, in reaction to what's going on in the country right now, I don't think there's a better time than now for us as people, or just as men in general, to really stand up and take pride and take responsibility for what we're doing and be more aware. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. This whole you know, the Black Lives Matter and the racism and the, you know, the prejudice in today's society. It's ridiculous. I mean, I grew up in that society. I grew up in that, you know, in the 70s, that everyone was prejudiced, everyone was racist, and it's just ridiculous that we still have it today. And even the protests of Black Lives Matter. I mean, come on, if we saw George Floyd as just a man, and, you know, another man choking out another man, there is no color, there is no difference, and it's equal rights. It's how to respect your fellow man, or your fellow American, or your fellow person. So there's no prejudice there. So the fact that it was a black and a white man, you know, made international news, obviously, and created a lot of chaos and protests. But again, if we could just stop the difference, that you know, the profiling, basically. Let's just accept each other as human beings, and let's have respect for one another. And, you know, that really starts from having respect from yourself. So when you have respect from yourself, you're going to respect other people. And it's an education. It's becoming educated. It's making yourself more aware. I know the term woke is like a big thing now, and awoke, awaken, all of that. Yeah, that's all good. But if you don't do anything about it, if you don't do anything with it, then you're not any better than anyone else. You can read as many books as you want, take as many classes as you want. You can come study with me. I'll teach you how to wake up. But are you going to really use it? That's the difference. So let's use it to what it's for. Let's use our awareness and stop falling back on old patterns. Let's use our awareness to progress and not regress. That's the difference. So with the Man Code, it's really about taking responsibility for yourself and taking responsibility for others, and protecting the people around you, and protecting yourself, and self-respect and self-esteem, and standing up for what you believe in, but also being kind enough to understand that everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a voice. Everyone should have a voice. And if they don't have a voice, then let's help them find their voice. You know, let's take the people that are maybe less fortunate, and let's help them find that voice. So we can do a lot. We can do a lot of good just by being responsible, just by stepping up and saying, hey, I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, whatever it is. But take responsibility for your own actions, especially if you hurt someone else, especially if you have hurt someone else. And that's a start. So by being a man, by being a chivalrous man, by being a caring man, by being an emotional man, let's start with that. Let's learn to forgive. Let's learn to accept our mistakes, and let's move forward. Let's move forward with that. Let's learn how to be stronger in our emotional state, even when we're not physically strong. Let's learn how to express ourselves and share with others. This is iced tea, just so you know. Iced tea and aloe vera juice. So I know I used to drink out of a mug, out of a coffee mug on my previous podcast called I'm So Vain. You can go back and look at the recent episodes of that. And I drink water. I don't drink coffee. So people would say, wow, you sure drink a lot of coffee during that show. And I'm like, well, little do you know. So I wanted to let you all know I'm not drinking whiskey or alcohol or anything like that. Not to say I don't drink whiskey every once in a while, but it's iced tea and aloe vera juice. So I'm trying to stay hydrated and healthy today, and moving forward with that. Makes you thirsty though. Iced tea makes you, yeah, it does make you a little thirsty. So that's a start. You know, the beginning is finding truth in yourself, taking responsibility for yourself. And how do we do that? Well, we have to look at ourselves and really admit or look at what's wrong. What's wrong with what is wrong or what's going on that is not working for us. Why are we banging our heads against the wall and not progressing or not moving forward, not getting any traction? Why are we making the same mistakes we made over and over and over and over and over again? So these are the things you have to first see what the problem is. So what is the problem? What's going on in your life? What's wrong? What's not working in your life? You know, I was a part of a men's group years ago, and that was our check-in. You know, what's working, what's not working. So every once a week we'd meet a group of men. It's based on on a Native American foundation, like the Sioux and the Navajo and the Hopi, mostly the Sioux Nation. We based it around that. There were some Native Americans a part of it. You know, they were mixed Native Americans, so they brought in a cultural background, a history to it. But the greatest thing was we would check in, all walks of life, all ethnicities, all races, and we'd say what's working, what's not working. You know, the common denominator, the common theme was always what's not working was they didn't know how to express themselves, men in general. And so what was not working was, I don't know how to get what I want. I don't know how to express what I want. I don't know how to ask for what I want. And so we worked on getting more in touch with that, and me having an acting background and learning how to express myself. Well, that helped out a lot. Acting, by the way, is, acting class is probably one of the best therapies you could ever do. It's one of the greatest things that saved my life. It gave me a voice. It gave me a way to express my emotions and my what do you call it? Stuff in the basement, as we call it. So, you think about a lot of things. You think about a lot of things, but we don't normally act on them. We don't normally know how to connect it to a feeling. We don't normally know how to connect it to an emotional expression. I think we feel them. We feel them inside. We just don't know how to connect. I say the head and the stomach, or the head and the gut. So when you get to those gut feelings, you don't know how to express them. Well, that's what I teach. That's what I help people do. If you want to work with me, come work with me. mancodeinc.com. You can sign up there. You can reach out to me. And my email is josh@joshcarmichael.com. You can get a hold of me there either way. And, let me know how I can help, because that's what I like doing. I like helping people. I like motivating people. I like moving people forward. And so what I'm getting to, and this is all unscripted, by the way. That's kind of how I fly. That's how kind of how I work. That's how my other podcast was. I'm going to take topics. I'm going to take subject matter that I think is important to society and society as a whole, but men in general, and men and women in that, because the women, women need to allow men to be men. We know that men need to step up and be a man. I've seen so many passive generations of men nowadays. I have two young sons, teenager sons, and I see some of that in them. It's just a different culture now. We get that. We understand that. But there's still a place and a reason and a place to be a man and when to be a man. And I think the first and foremost thing is protect your family. Protect what you love. Really at all costs. And what I mean by that, I don't mean go out and buy a gun. I mean protect them by standing up for them, by being a accountable person, by being trustworthy, by having integrity and have moral values that lead by example. Because if you're a father out there and you're not leading by example, then you're not doing what you should be doing. You need to stand up, step up, and lead by example. Be accountable. That's a big one. Be accountable. Be there for when people need you. Know that that's your sacrifice in life. Know that that's a part of your life. That we as men, we have to sacrifice who we are or what we are in order to give to someone else. I think we as people do that. And if we do that more in society, we wouldn't have the George Floyd killings or murders. We wouldn't have the violence on television every single day. Take accountability for yourself. Number one, be accountable. Show up, step up, be real. Be real. If you're lying to yourself about anything, about your job or your career or your money or your value, then you're not coming into this as an honest game. It's you're coming in falsely, and that's, well, look at your results. That's all I can say. Look at your results. So if you're coming in with artificial beginning or a false beginning, then you're going to have mediocre results, too little results, and you're going to wonder why you keep making the same mistakes. And it's really hard to look at yourself. It's hard to look back at yourself and go, "Wow, man, I'm an asshole. Or I was rude to that person, or I didn't show up for work on time, like 3 days in a row because I don't care. I don't really give a shit about my job." Guess what? And then you want a raise or you want more money or want to find something else to do, and nobody's going to hire you because you don't care. We have to know that you have to do certain things, baby steps to get to where you really want. You have to do jobs that you don't love to get to the ones you do love. You have to fight your way to the top even when you don't feel like fighting anymore. Now I look at it this way. You know how many times I've been beaten down, you know how many times I've been knocked down, you know how many times I've been leveled. And it's, the guy behind me, Stallone, Rocky Balboa is a great line. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep getting up and keep moving forward. It's about that. How many times can you get hit and keep moving forward? How many times can you avoid getting hit by waking up and not wanting to get hit anymore? That's probably a better quote, because it's like we don't. Who wants to get hit all the time? I sure don't. But we do as people. We do these same patterns and these same song and dance. Why? Because we are products of the programming. We're products of the patterns of our past, of our family, of our friends. Oh my God. Hey, look at you.
It's been a stressful morning.
Uh-oh, what's so special about it?
That was stressful.
Oh, stressful.
I was just dealing with my dad's shenanigans, and
Oh,
he
no.
called me all night long.